For some reason, my face likes to appear pink in this light, but if I turn on my desk lamp, it's not better. So I started grad school on Thursday. Woo! So I actually got here a little bit earlier, and I was kind of dorking around and doing some stuff, talking to my advisor, getting stuff set up. But now I'm in my new apartment. Yay! As you can see, put up my posters. There's a television and a bookshelf and some stuff and a bike without a handlebar because I took it off my car and haven't gotten around to fixing it. I like the apartment, but there are like a few small problems. The first is that there are roaches. If you've never had roaches, because I've never had roaches, they're actually not as gross as people say they are. I was kind of expecting the massive roaches that crawl around and are really gross and just cause massive problems for you. But as it turns out, they're not that annoying. They're kind of just every so often you're like, oh, what's that little thing on the wall? And then there's a little baby roach. And I'm not saying they're cute. I'm not saying I like them. I want them to go away. They're getting killed tomorrow, hopefully. They're not that bad. Except for the other day we were eating dinner and there was something that looked like a roach leg, and it wasn't a roach leg. It wouldn't have been a roach leg. It's not the right color, but it looked vaguely like one. And after that, I was just like, no. The other problem is just that there are lots of little the sink drains don't drain that well. The shower has something kind of gritty in it. It's not the greatest apartment ever, but I like the landlady. She's very nice. She came in at first and she was just like, oh, I hope you liked it. I specially picked it out for you. And I was like, oh, because I hadn't seen this apartment. I just kind of moved in randomly. So now I feel bad if anything is wrong because I want her to think that I am enjoying the new apartment that she picked out for me. But it's also I have roaches. Please get rid of them. Actually, I was at the gym today and my landlord was walking behind me to go take a smoke break. And I was jogging at the treadmill and she just went by and she was like, oh, good job, with this fake jogging thing, and I was just like, thank you. And then she took her smoke break right outside where the gym is, and there's nobody else in the gym because it's a really kind of small rundown gym, and so I was just running along being la 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 la, and she was just sort of aimlessly watching me, and then she finished her smoke break, she walked back behind me, and I was like, I'm still gross and jogging. So that was good, because I really do not like attractive when I'm jogging, so that's great. One of the problems with my apartment is that I am too lazy to buy furniture, so well, sort of. It's just also furniture is expensive and not that many people live in my apartment, so there's not really any reason to. So I have this chair right there, the chair I'm sitting on, which is a bar stool, and I have a step stool. So that chair has kind of been determined to be too short for the counter that I'm sitting at, so it gets to stay at the desk. It gets to hang out at its own little desk, but the bar stool is slightly too tall, and the step stool is a step stool. So really, I'm really super prepared to have guests, obviously, people should totally come and visit, hang out with me in my step stool, and lack of any guest furnishings. So I'm in 4 classes. I'm in a GIS class. I'm in a natural resources methods class, which is really about writing your research proposal for your master's thesis or PhD thesis, depending. I'm in a plant biology class, which is less about plants and more about how to calculate things about plants, how to measure plants. It's more of the mathematical thing, so it's related to my thesis in that way. And my 4th class is an ecology class, which is secretly kind of an undergraduate class. It is not great. So the first class I ever went to was Fanner 8200, which is my research methods class. And the man sort of took a while to get in. He was like, oh, okay, let's see. And he was like, I'm going to sit down because I'm kind of old and standing is a lot of work. He sat down at the beginning of the class, but then there were just all these people who kept coming in and there weren't enough chairs. So he kept being like, oh, well, luckily there's still one more seat. We've gotten all the people in here. And then one more person would show up slightly late, and it was just hilarious. And the first day I obviously don't know any people in these classes. And so it was just sort of ho-ho, but I showed up 15 minutes early, and luckily these 2 other girls showed up 15 minutes early, and so we chatted. And one of them, who I've nicknamed South Dakota Girl, her real name is Jenna. Yes. So yeah, that class seems like it's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to be really productive for my thesis, so I'm not super concerned about it, and that's all grad students, so that'll be fun, I think. My second class I ever had was my ecology class, and my ecology class is it's mostly undergraduates. There are, I think, 4 people who are taking the honors level, the 6,000 level as opposed to the 4,000 level, and of those I think only 2 or 3 of us might be master's students. So I think there's just one random girl who's taking it honors for funsies because she couldn't get into the undergraduate class, and then 3 of us are master's students. So it's it seems to be, it's going to be kind of geared as an undergraduate class. But what's funny is that in order to split up, like, oh, there's like an undergraduate portion and a graduate portion being taught at the same time, in order to split that up, basically there's a group project which is supposed to be 4 people, and each team member is supposed to write like a 3-page thing. And so people who are in the honors level have to just pretend to be 4 different people and write 4 different 3-page things and then turn it in as like a project. So you do it independently, but you still have to pretend to be all the people, which is just funny. She basically could have said just write a 12-page paper, which is like fine, but whatever. So undergraduates are getting it easy because I think a 3-page paper is really not that bad. I mean, I guess maybe they're not getting it easy because they have to like work in groups, and working in groups is the worst, but whew, don't have to do that. So yeah, that class just, I don't know. I don't have high hopes for that class, but you know, thank you, Light, for, oh, I feel vaguely like I've been chosen. So the third class I went to was P-Bio, so I had that on Friday, and it's only 6 people, and one of the people was at Rising Star Caves, which if you don't know what it is, you should first of all look it up, and second of all, I'm going to tell you anyway. But it's that cave where they found all those ancient human remains, and what's really cool about it is that there was like a very large man and he couldn't get down into the cave, like he was like the head expert or whatever, so he hired a team of small women to go down for him, and one of the people in my class was involved with that, which is like crazy. So that's, of the 6 people, it's like, okay, well, stop being smart and intimidating in my vicinity. One of the other people is someone who's going to be kind of working in the lab. He's a PhD student working on other Gopher Tortoise stuff, so he's not directly connected to me, but I don't actually remember the names of anybody else or what they do in my class. I just remember one of them goes to Sewanee and knows my friend Winnie Davis, which is really cool. So that class is going to be a lot about plant, not like plant biology in itself. It's not going to be about plants, but it's going to be about detecting plants and graphing plants and the mathematical components of like studying plants, which is actually kind of more why I'm taking it, because there are plants that get in the way of gopher tortoises, and I'm interested in the gopher tortoises. So in order to kind of study the gopher tortoises, I'm going to try and figure out a way to kind of create some sort of mathematical relationship between where gopher tortoises like to burrow and annoying habitat things like bushes. So that's kind of the idea behind taking this class. It seems like it'll be fun. It's going to be discussion based. It doesn't seem like it's going to be too hard in terms of grading, but I don't actually know how interesting it's going to be, but I have high hopes. The man seems pretty cool. And then the last class, which I just had today, earlier this morning, is a 2-hour class because there's a lab attached, and that is my GIS class. And that is great. I sit next to South Dakota girl and some other random person and some other random people. It was funny the first day of class, so the teacher was going on about like, I don't know, it was like explaining things in GIS, and I was like, I've already kind of done this. So I was like kind of reading through the exercise that I knew was going to be due by next class, and so I was like doing it while he was talking. And then he like finished, and then like 15 minutes later, I just like stood up and I was like, oh, time to go. And it was just really awkward because everyone else had been paying attention, like good students. And so I had to, I don't know, I just had to walk out in silence. And I was like, oh. But class was over. Just, just hadn't been paying attention to what he said. So hopefully he didn't say anything important because I didn't learn it. Oops. I have a very small office. It's very white. They're sort of like brick and plaster, and it's all white, except for my desk, which is black, and I get a chair, which is also black, and my computer. I got a new computer today, and I didn't buy it myself, but the lab bought it for me. It's a brand new Dell thing, and it's got Microsoft 10 on it, and then I got a monitor that goes with it, and a keyboard, so I'm going to bring in my wireless mouse, and yeah, I'm pretty psyched for that. I think it'll be good. I think I'm just going to spend time hanging out in the office, even though I'm not necessarily working directly on the project there. But my laptop has GIS on it, so I can get my GIS homework done. And it has various things that I'll need for my Gopher Tortoise project. And it's right next to my advisor's, sort of like the suite where my advisor is, which has a printer, which I can print for free. I printed my G4, my W2, my direct deposit stuff, like all this like paperwork stuff. And I like had no idea where to bring it, so I had to like go to the office of graduate admissions or whatever for Warnell and be like, where does this go? And they were like, go over there. And I was like, okay. And then I like brought it over, and they're like, where's your passport? And I was like, oh, I'm coming back tomorrow. So couldn't actually do all that stuff, but I got it out of the way. I also got this horrible system that USGS has set up to train employees on various things about the Department of the Interior and the Bureau of Land Management and et cetera. Like it's just all these like training things. I've taken one of their trainings before. It's electrofishing, and I did that with Neon because we needed to know how to safely electrofish, and that was fine because I only had to take one course. And they're just not very interesting. and they're just like, they're the kind of like thing where there's text and there's someone like talking very slowly, like saying the text over, and you're like, please stop talking. I can't like read when you're talking, but like I also have to listen to you because of the way it's set up. And then you take these quizzes, and if you get them wrong, you have to take the whole quiz again because you have to get like at least 75%. And even if you complete all the quizzes, it still like won't let you say that you've completed the course unless you go back and click through all the slides that say you've completed it. So I needed to take 5 of these for Warnow because I am now part of USGS, technically. I'm part of the Georgia Cooperative Unit, and probably in a few days, you'll see my face on a website. Ha ha! So technically I am now a USGS kind of employee thing. It was really funny, but there was like this kind of snowstormy thing. And, like, Georgia freaked out about it. Like, they were like, oh my gosh, it's a winter storm! And, like, the apartment complex I'm in, like, put down all this ice melt, like, so much ice melt, and they put up all these warnings about how it was going to be cold. It was ridiculous. It got, like, maybe 1.5 inches of snow. And then it, like, melted immediately. And everyone's just like, nope, can't do it. And, I'm not sure if it was because of the snow, or just because, like, Athens is weird. But, like, Emily and I went to Goodwill, and we went to what's that place called? We went to the Salvation Army, and we went to the animal shelter. And all of these places have times that are, like, listed on their website as being open. But for whatever reason, they just, like, aren't actually open at those times. So the door itself says it's open from 9 to 5. But then these random people going by were like, oh, it doesn't open until noon. Or like, oh, it doesn't open until 1. And stuff like that. And we were like, what? And the animal shelter on its website clearly states 12 to 5. But it's not. We went there and they were like, oh, volunteers only until 2 p.m. It's open. It's about like a 2 p.m. And I was like, what does it say on your website? That is extremely irritating. I'm happy I like it here. I think grad school is going to be so much fun. I'm going to Go for Tortoise conference starting Thursday. So I will be gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and part of Monday. And then I'm going to come back. I'll have gone to the Go for Tortoise conference, which is in Palatka or something, Florida. And I'll have also gone to a couple of Go for Tortoise sites to kind of see what's up. And hopefully I'll have met some cool people who do Go for Tortoise stuff and somebody who I really want on my advisory committee for my thesis. And she's written a bunch of really cool stuff on Go for Tortoise papers, so I'm really psyched to meet her. The disadvantage is that I have to miss Thursday afternoon and Friday class, which was great. Being like, hi, you've never met me, I'm going to miss class next week. And I'll come back and hopefully I'll be starting on kind of actually doing something towards my master's and not just like going to class. So that's good. But yeah, good things coming up in my future. Yay!